offices for about 15 years. And about 3.5 years ago, I decided to go back into full-time sales, as well as coaching and training agents right before COVID hit. So you can blame it on me. But one of the things I find is that we might put a business plan together, but what we don't do is there's just not a good tool for keeping score. And so what I've done is I've put together a scoreboard for you. I'm going to walk you through how to use it. It is an Excel spreadsheet. I put my information in the chat box. So if you would like a copy of this, you can either email me or you can text me with your email address, and I'll be more than happy to share that with you. So are we ready to rock and roll, Kim? Nope. Okay. So,
yes, absolutely. Sorry, hit the wrong button.
That's all right. I just want to make sure you're able to, can you see my screen?
We can.
Okay, perfect. Then let's get this going. So what I put together is an agent scorecard. And so I know a lot of people create an annual business plan. It has, goals. It has how they track their closings. But I don't know that you have a detailed scoreboard for how you're doing that. And what if you had a spreadsheet that would keep you updated? It's easy to complete and it's very easy to read. So we're going to start talking about tracking your results versus your goals. So this is the first page of the scoreboard. I'm going to go through each part of this, but the only thing that you have to fill in on this page are the green boxes. The other ones from the other documents or the other spreadsheets you fill out, part of this worksheet will automatically populate. So you're not having to put this in every time. So what it's going to do, it's going to track your listings, the ones you have active, the listings you have pending, the listings you have sold. And then you are going to set your goal from a sales volume perspective, and then what you think your average commission will be for the year. And then it will automatically populate your volume and the number of units that you need to close. Everybody got that? The rest is going to autofill. So here is on that same page, where you're going to put in your goal. So in this case, this agent has 15 million as their sales volume, and they're going to put in 2.75%, probably because they've got buy transactions on the other side that are not offering what they consider their full commission. So you're going to put that in, and in this case, the commission volume is 412,500. And it means that this individual at that price, at that commission, needs to close 36 transactions. So again, it's automatically going to calculate that for you. So you're going to have a separate little tab on the bottom that is for your active listings only. So you're going to put over in this first box, it'll always be a 1 so that you can see the total of 2 units. You'll put the address, the date that it was listed. You're only filling in the white boxes here. It will automatically pull in today's date. This is a copy of a spreadsheet, so it's not live. And that will tell you how many days that listing has been on the market. You'll put in your initial list price and where you have that listed now. It will automatically calculate what your list to sale or your list ratio is. You'll put in your commission, and it will calculate based on today's list price what your commission should be on that. When you go down to the bottom, it's going to show you that you've got 2 units, you have a total of over 1 million, what your averages are. So 28 days on market, average list price of 527. Oh, but now you've dropped that 525 and where you are. So again, if we go back to this one, you can see that that automatically populates there. Any questions?
Actually, I have a question, or more
Yes.
of a statement maybe. Isn't this information, because it's personal to each agent, isn't this great information to be able to have at a listing appointment, because it tells you what your averages are? For my
Yes.
listings, this is what I do. This is how, when we're trying to market ourselves, and we have to have social proof, so to speak, to be able to know this information without having to do any additional work. This is a really good tool, I think.
Well, and I think it's a good barometer. If you go out and you research what these statistics are in the MLS, you can now look to see, am I ahead of the MLS, which I should be talking about in my presentations? Am I below? And that becomes an opportunity for coaching and training.
Right. It's good.
Okay. All right. So then we go to the pending area. So that's going to have what you actually have, your pending listings. What do you have under contract? Same information. I still put in the initial list price because I want to look when I'm putting that in there, what was I able to negotiate? When I sit down with buyers, I want to say, you know what, on average, I'm able to save my clients X amount. With this new market that we are in, that's a possibility now. You know, in a year ago, 2 years ago, you know, it's like, well, I still was able to negotiate. You only had to go 5,000 instead of 10,000 over, but this becomes really important to me. And then I also put in there, what are the seller concessions? So what were you able to negotiate? Did you do a 2-1 buy down? Did you get them to pay for closing costs or a home warranty? Now I'm starting to track that. That shows me where my negotiation skills are. And so that contract price based on the list price, what did I negotiate? So here right now, this agent is able to negotiate a savings of 1.3%. May not sound like a lot, but it's still something that you put in there. If I don't tell you that, then I don't stand apart from other agents. And then it automatically calculates your commissions on there. So when we go back here, here's your average contract price for everything you have under contract, your average commission, your average days on market, and your list to current ratio. Now, is it important that you're filling out those other worksheets? Yes. If I have an active listing and it goes pending, I take it from the active and I move that over to the pending worksheet. And then we have closed listings. These are your sales. So you enter each sold in a separate tab. The yellow boxes again automatically will calculate address, what date you listed it, sold price, how many days it was on the market, what you initially listed it for, what it sold for, what that ratio is, your commission and percentage and your commission amount. So when we come back to that cover page, here is where you are. You've sold 5 listings at an average. You started at 601. You were you ended up 595.6. Average commission of 3. Average days on market of 86, and your list of sales price ratio is 99.1. Any questions on that? All right. Same thing with pending buyers. I don't put active buyers in this. You could do that if you wanted to, but for me, it's just that I'm going to have people in there that could distort my goals. So this is buyers that I have under contract. Again, address, the date they went pending. I'm going to include concessions in here. And so when this goes back to that cover sheet, I've got 3 pending. Average commission is 2.58%. Average days on market 9. $4,300 in concessions that I've negotiated, and 98.8. I save 1.2%. So again, same thing here. And then we go to our closed buyers, same as the closed listings. What did you close? When did you close it? Days on market, includes your concessions, your ratio, your commission, and then that amount automatically calculates. So here, 5 sales, these are buyers only, what your average list price was to what the contract price was, commission, days on market, concessions, and the list to contract ratio. So you fill that other one, and remember, this is automatically going to transfer to that cover page. So then we go down to the goal summary. This takes all of your actives, all of your pendings and closings for listings and for buyers, and it combines those. So here, the year-to-date summary, you can see that 5.7 in closed sales, 161,000 in commissions, and 10 units. And there's your pendings, and then there's your active listings. Here's where it becomes powerful. So this will automatically calculate at the very bottom that 67.9% of the year is still remaining. And here's where you are with your volume, your commission, and your units, only on closed volume.
Oh.
Okay, because if we add the other ones, it's gonna get distorted. Something could, cancel, or it could, you could have an expired listing, hopefully not. So with closed volume, this agent is at 61.93%. That's what they need to finish the year. Whereas there's 67.9% of the year remaining. So it will tell them, are you above that goal or are you behind that goal? So here, this agent is ahead on their closed volume, also ahead on their commission, but they're behind on their closed units. Whether that's an issue or not, for most people, as long as I'm ahead on my commission, I'm good. But this is telling me that they are doing better than the goals that they set on the volume that they've sold year to date, and also on the commission that they are collecting. So this gives you that snapshot, and you can look at that, update that, and then you can compare yourself to how the MLS is doing. And that becomes a way for you when you're going on your buyer presentations and your listing presentations. When we were in the heat of the market, I always had a page that had every listing that I had sold, what the list price was, and what we actually sold it for, and a total at the bottom, which was like, I think it was like $240,000 above list price that I had been able to bring to my sellers. We need that for our buyers now. Now, what are we negotiating? And you may still need that for your sellers. Just to say, the average list price ratio is 94%, whatever that is. Mine is 98%. And for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that means an extra X amount of dollars in your pocket.
Susan, can I jump in here really quick?
Yes,
Back to that for a
absolutely.
second. If you'll go back one screen, please.
Yes.
These numbers that we're talking about, for those of you that are with Real and you are tracking where you are in your capping status and your elite agent status, because those are financial actionable items, right, for you. These numbers will be very, very helpful, because you'll be able to know where you are. And if you use the calendar as your anniversary year versus an actual January to December, right? So if you morphed that a little bit, then you would be able to see where you are in the process of achieving those two milestones. So I just kind of want to throw that out there for you as real agents, because these numbers become really powerful and a pretty good encapsulation of all of your business, but not just your real estate stuff, but how it impacts your engagement with Real Broker.
Right. And if you are in a coaching relationship, to me, this is a great tool to bring to the table to say, here's where I am.
Right.
Because I think most coaching, not most, but a lot of them are just, well, how did you do? Okay, what are you going to do better the next time? And we don't have these tangible numbers that say, here's where you wanted to be. So, we've just finished the first quarter, we're well into the second quarter. Based on that, how do you feel? Well, I feel like I need to raise my goal. I may need to modify that goal, or I'm going to get my butt in gear and just do what I need to do.
Right.
So this is what that looks like. So it's going to assume a start date of, January 1st, but you could modify that. But now you just get this one page that tells you exactly where you are. So do you have any questions or anything I can answer for you? Is it a valuable tool, first of all?
I do. It's May. Do you start and work it from May this year to May next year?
I think that's up to you. If you've set an annual goal, I would still go in because you'll be able to put your active and pending and then all of the sales you've had year to date. If you want to track it on a year to date basis and start today, I would go ahead and do that. It's going to automatically go to the top there and put today's date in when you open this up.
Or would you go put your goals in just for the half a year to finish off the
Yeah,
year?
you could do that too. Yeah, you could
Okay.
change your goal to, maybe it's 75, 7.5 million instead of 15 million here. So you can adjust that goal for it to be anything that you want.
Gotcha. One more question regarding concessions. Do you put in what you do work out on a Binzer, let's say money in lieu of repairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything you negotiated that put money in the pocket of my client will be a concession.
Yeah.
And I
Thank you.
do that on the listing side as well. To say, you know what, here's what we're seeing, when you sit down with that seller and they're like, well, I'm not going to pay anything. It's like, well, let me show you what has happened in this market. So I've had, 15 closings to date. All but one of those, the seller has contributed that. I want that Band-Aid to come off at the beginning of the presentation, not when the Binzer comes in. And to say, we need to be prepared. And I tell you what, I'm just going to put in your preliminary net sheet an estimate of about what people are paying. If you don't have to pay that, that's a win-win. It won't come as a shock to you if you do.
Susan, so I'm going to go backwards just a little bit again, because I feel like when people see spreadsheets who are not spreadsheet people, there's a stroke of panic that happens and there's a likelihood of fade to black. I don't understand this. It can't do it. Can you just reiterate, now that people's blood pressure has come back down and they've seen what it can do, just like what involvement, like what do I have to do? What to make magic happen? Because I don't have to know formulas. I don't have to mess around with a lot of stuff. But if you'll just, I know this is kind of redundant, but I feel like when people start seeing it, there is that like, oh, I can't do this. But I think now that they've seen the power of it, it would help to kind of go back and explain really quickly again, like what's required of me. What do I have to do to use this to make that look as magical? Because that's not something that I'm going to be able to create on my own.
Okay. So first of all, if you are interested, I'll send you this, but there's also step-by-step directions that go with it.
Ta-da.
So you are not, yay, we're not.
Oh, thank God.
I know.
You're the one I'm talking about, girl.
I know you were.
Is that Cindy?
Without a doubt. I'm like, she knows me.
I do.
But this is what would, I mean, I know that you're not the only one, Cindy. Like some people see this stuff and they're just like, oh, yeah, I can't.
Exactly.
Some people can do spreadsheets in their sleep, right? And some people just don't flat out care at all. But this is such a good, powerful tool and easy. And that's kind of what I want Susan to kind of just bounce back in again.
I mean, I'll be honest, I was so intimidated listening and, watching what she was trying to teach. That's actually the reason I turned off my camera. I didn't want y'all looking at my face going, she's lost, she's scared.
We got you.
And I'm always happy to walk you through it as well. So when you have an Excel spreadsheet, there are tabs at the bottom. The first tab is the cover sheet, and the only thing you're going to put in there will be your sales volume goal and what you think your total average commission will be. That's all you're going to put on there. Can you do that, Cindy?
Yes, I can. I can do that.
Okay. All right.
Turn your
So
camera
then
back
when we
on
go-
and prove it.
There's a tab at the bottom that says active listings. And the thing is, you're going to get a sample from me as well as a blank one, but you're always you want to be able here where it says 2 units at the bottom. The way it knows to do that is that the number of listings, anything you have active, you're going to put a 1 in the left-hand column.
And if
And
it's
the
not active,
third-
if it's pending, does it get a 2?
It goes on a different sheet.
Oh.
Okay, this is active listings only.
Okay.
Okay, so the pending will go. So let's say that the second one goes pending. You're going to remove it from this one and move it over to the pending. And the numbers will probably change. So there'll always be a 1 for anything you have listed in any of these spreadsheets, active, pending, or sold, because that's how it calculates your units. So there'll never be anything other than a 1. Your listing date is the date that you listed it. Personally, for me, it's the date that I put it in the MLS. It's not the date that I actually sign the documents. Because I may, if it's coming soon or whatever, I'll put that date in there, but when it goes out to the public, it'll automatically calculate everything in yellow. So what was your initial list price? And then you don't need to put in, you could put today's list price at the same price. If you do a price adjustment, you're going to come in and you're going to adjust that. It will automatically adjust your list ratio. What is the commission that you're charging list side only? What you're actually going to walk away with, and it will automatically calculate that. And then that will come to your front page. Does that make sense, Cindy?
Yeah, it makes sense, because as long as I remember, it's just my side and not what the listing was.
Correct. Correct. And again, what I would do for those of you that haven't used a lot of spreadsheets, print out the ones that I send you so you have that sample.
Mhm.
So let's say that you do a commissionectomy and you say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want to help you out. Let me give you a 0.5%. If you do that, then come back in here and change it. My recommendation with this worksheet is that you look at it at least once a week and go back and make sure everything is current. So when we get to pendings, you can see left hand, however many units you have 1 there. So if I am co-listing and I'm co-listing with Kim, I'm going to put a 0.5, a 0.5%. Okay, and my commission needs to be adjusted accordingly. But what date did it go under contract? That will calculate your days on market. And then where you were when it went pending, I'm going to take it off of the active listing, move it over here so that it adjusts everything. So for instance, this one on 2nd Avenue didn't have any seller concessions at this point, but that could change during the pending process. So before I close it, I want to make sure those numbers are done. When it closes, it comes off of the pending and moves to the sold listings. So Cindy, what would happen if I had a listing cancel? What would happen on that sheet?
You would take it off.
I would take it off. What would happen if it canceled
You would
as a
take it off.
pending? Maybe. I might move it back to the active listings.
But if it canceled, it's not active.
This is a contract. The pending listings, if it cancels, then it's possible that would be back on the active listings.
The listing didn't cancel, Cindy. The contract
Just
with
the
the buyer.
contract.
Okay,
Canceled.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then this is our favorite. This is the sales. Anything that shows up here should not be on the active tab, and it should not be on the pending, because you now have closed this count. And so this, again, will automatically update. Same thing with your buyers. These are buyers under contract only. And so if one of those cancels, Cindy, what happens?
If a buyer cancels and it's not my listing, it gets taken off.
Exactly. What if it was your listing and you have the buyer?
Then it goes back to active.
It could go back to active, correct. So I know it can, and again, not everybody's going to want to use this, but for me, it was just a really good way to keep track of everything. And then of course you've got your closed buyers. So if it's closed, then it has to come off of pending. So you should never have the same address on active, pending, and closed at the same time. They have to only be on one of those. Did that help?
Yes.
So good.
Okay, and remember, anything in yellow, you're not going to complete that, because those automatically calculate for you. Otherwise, it'll kind of mess everything up.
Do you have those screens locked or those columns locked?
I could, if anybody wants them locked, I could do that. I can protect it so you can't change those.
Yes, please, because I will screw it up. I will hit a button.
You know
I
what
promise.
I'll do is I will do one that's protected and one that's not protected. Okay, so that you don't go in and mess with those. Some of you, if you're really familiar with spreadsheets, you might want to go in and change the start dates and those types of things. So I'll leave that open, or you may want to change it.
Ivan, I love it. This will change my life.
Oh, Ivan, I'm so glad to hear that. All right, so what questions do you have? Anything? Is there
I have one
anything
more.
anymore? Yes, go
Um,
ahead, Richie.
any possibility of you adding to this Excel source of the
Yes,
buyer,
yeah,
source of
I can
the
add that.
seller, so we can track where our business is actually coming from?
Absolutely. Yep, I'll add that before I send them out.
Awesome.
Okay, great suggestion.
So guys, this is only good if you use it, right? So it's a
Correct.
super powerful tool. But here's the trick. If you stay up to date on this document, just this document, you have a bird's eye view of every single thing that's happening in your business, and you don't have an opportunity to not be honest with yourself about how well or how poorly you're doing in the business. I think sometimes it's very easy for us to say things like, oh my gosh, I closed a whole bunch the first quarter, but my second quarter has been a little slow. Well, when you look at this and you realize you closed 2 in the first quarter, it doesn't seem exactly like a whole bunch when there's not a big list of things, right? Like, it's good psychologically for us to see the progress of our business and our execution. And it does give you guys an opportunity, gives us all an opportunity to look and say, hey, this is where we're struggling. And this is where I need to reach out and get some assistance. This is where you come to Lions and Legends and say, hey, I was looking at my numbers and I realized that I don't have nearly as many listings as I had planned for the year. I'm way behind. So what are the ideas to go find additional listings? How am I going to generate that business? That's the kind of meaningful conversations that you can start to have, but you have to start with being honest with yourself and actually knowing your business. We talk a lot about, knowing your numbers in this industry and how many people don't know their numbers. But it's very interesting to me how the correlation between people who actually know their numbers and are running their business like a business versus the ones who don't know their numbers. They seem to be more in the category of that transactional mentality. So if you are trying to make that move from transactional agent to entrepreneur, business owner, this is a super powerful tool that just starts putting your brain in the right mindset to start to look at your business as a business owner. Because everything Susan showed is, if you've ever run a P&L statement for a company or seen one, this is your P&L in a lot of ways. It's your business P&L. It's not tracking your expenses and that sort of thing. It's not truly profit and loss, but this is absolutely the picture of your business. And if the picture of your business doesn't look like you want your business to look like, then you can see by just looking at this where you need to concentrate your efforts and where you need to increase your education, your training, your exposure, your coaching. So this is more than just understanding your numbers, right? It's also being able to say, hey, where are the weak points and where are the strong points? And if my weak points are super duper 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 weak and my strong ones are super duper duper strong, guess where I should spend my time? Don't worry about your weak points. Start focusing all of your effort into your strong points. But if you don't know that and you just make these assumptions because you think it looks like this or it feels like this to you, this is going to give you a very clear reality touch and keep your feet grounded so that you can continue to make business decisions, not emotional response decisions based in, the oh crap moments of your life, right? This is something that can really help you change the way your brain is looking at your business.
Well, and I think it really reveals your business.
Right.
So, I want my commission to be 3% on all my listings. Well, this reveals how successful you are at that. And so when you're setting your goals for 2024, you've got this realistic view of how you did. And if you want to improve on that, rather than picking a number, 15 million sounds good. Now you have some you have some background to say, and if I'm going to improve this and do 20 million next year, I know where I can focus to get better. I need to get better at my listing presentation and negotiation skills. The other thing I think is we could do a modified version of this that was for buyer agents only. That wouldn't have the listing information on it, but where you could track this information with your buyer agents to see how are they doing compared to the rest of your team, to the rest of the MLS, as far as how they're negotiating, how they're producing.
It's a good starting point for, like you just said, figuring out what your next level is, right? Like you can decide if this is, if you have hit this level of whatever your goal was and you're systematically doing that, that's also indicators for you to know how to set your goals. Did you set your goals too high? Did you set them too low? Are you like flying past everything? Do you need to have a regroup and reset that, particularly as we approach the middle of the year? Right? We're already solidly into Q2. What happened to Q1? And shoot, what happened to the first part of Q2 already? But maybe it's a good time for us to have a good look at, right, if I was really aiming to hit this threshold in either volume or commission, and this is how far away I am, but this is what I've been really good at. Let's pay attention to those. You can separate all these analytics to figure out what should be attached to your actions. And I would say, you guys, also, if you are a team lead, this is certainly a really good tool for you, but it's a really good tool for you to share with your team members, because we need to start helping our team members think like business people. As team leaders, they rely on you as the rainmaker, but part of what you are likely committing to them as their leader is to teach them how to do this business. And this is one place where I think most agents are really challenged, and most team leads know how to track the team numbers for their purposes of managing their own business, but they're not necessarily having the team agents start to think that way also. So this is a really good visual tool. It's easy. It looks complicated, but I assure you guys, it's just super simple. And it's one place that you can track all your information. Anybody else have comments or questions or anything that you need around this? Make sure you get Susan's information so you can reach out to her. She's
I put it in the chat
generously
box as
offering to
well,
help.
but yeah, send me that. It'll take me a day or two to get the one where the cells are protected. But I'll send you both of those, and then I'll add source to that as well. Thank you, Richie, for that.
That's a good call.
Yep.
Love it. Well, thank you, you guys. Appreciate it, Susan. Your information's awesome. This is a good game changer. Ivan put it right. This could change your life, because you don't have to try to keep track of it on your own in some form that you're trying to create. It allows you to use all of her brain power and all her good smartness and her time, effort, energy. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. This will be in the Lines and Legends Facebook page also, you guys. So if you need to go back when you get her stuff and you go through that and you just kind of want to hear and see it again while it's in front of you, you can absolutely, we try to upload them within the day. Worst case scenario will be tomorrow, but they'll be in the Facebook group. So if that helps you when you're going kind of through your own stuff, when you get it and you just need to hear somebody's voice around what you're supposed to do again, because sometimes it seems super easy now, and then when you get it, you can be stonewalled again and just be like, oh, I don't know what to do. So tap into the resources that we have available for you guys. Okay.
Thank you so much, Susan. I appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Super good. Have a
Bye,
great
everybody.
week, you guys. Appreciate you all so much.
Bye.
Bye.